Hello and welcome back to Digital Assets Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in your corner of the world. We've gone through a few things lightly, but after enough requests, private messaging, text, etc., on, a lot of questions on how to start investing in digital assets, crypto, whatever. The number one thing that seems to confuse people is actually learning how to do it at the beginning and start. And I've spent, many hours of helping people do this. So I think I wanted to do a video specifically kind of walking you through, because there's a lot of confusion. And for those of us that have done it for a long time, it seems very simple and basic. But for the new person, they're kind of, hesitant to ask. Maybe they're embarrassed. Maybe they think they should know more than they do, but they don't quite understand. There's a lot of confusion. A lot of money's been lost, and a lot of money has been, misguided. A lot of money has been like, in fees, etc. Just a lot of confusion. And I never realized how much until, after enough requests and going back through a lot of messaging and even a lot of recent messaging. I think it's something I just wanted to touch upon, and this video is going to be dedicated to kind of guiding you through, a little help from my journey, sharing that with you and hoping that answers your questions. If there's more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below if there's something you think I should have covered. And again, it's going to be, a little brief through this, but trying to make sure that at least by the end of the video that you really understand, even as short as it may be, that you can just go in and you can purchase the assets that you're looking for. All right, I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to go through a couple things and I'm going to bounce around a little bit in this video. Depending on where you live, your country may or may not let you use different exchanges. And each exchange may or may not hold different assets that are available in different countries. I know that sounds a bit confusing. For example, Coinbase, after the SEC lawsuit, which is going on, delisted XRP. So inside the US, it's really hard to get XRP. And I'm not going to go into that discussion right now because I'm going to try and stay focused on this. But having said that, if you have a Coinbase account, it's probably the easiest account to set up. Has a little bit higher fees. It's very secure, very safe. And I've used them for, quite a few years. So I think it's probably the easiest. And having said that, if you're used to professional, like setup, like an exchange, once you set up your Coinbase account, I think this one's labeled Coinbase.com. And even though I didn't open it, I probably should have. But if you have a Coinbase account, you also have a Coinbase Pro account. Same exact email, same exact password and login information. The Coinbase account is really simple. Let's see if I can even get into that. Okay, so let's try. Okay, here we go. Now, when you get into the account, you're going to see stuff like this. And this is what makes the Coinbase.com so user-friendly, so easy. You go, okay, what do I want to buy? I want to buy XRP. Oh, yeah, it's not listed. It's not available here in the US. So let's go to, let's try anything. Cardano. Let's go to ADA. Okay. Click trade. And then it's going to allow you, let's just see what it lets me do without having to log in. I guess I have to log in first, so I can't really go all the way through that with you. But you're going to click and trade, and it's going to ask you to basically like buy or sell. And that's where if you're wanting to buy, you can click buy. And it'll let you, one thing with Coinbase, it'll let you preview buy. So if you say you have $5 you want to invest, you can click, your preview trade or preview buy, whatever they label it. at your $5 level. It's going to show you how many of those assets you're going to receive, and then it's going to take its fees out of that. Suppose that's one thing too. That's probably a good point to make as well. Unlike regular stocks, say Disney at 169, just making up numbers, don't look for Disney at 169. But say Disney's stock is at 169, and suppose your broker forces you to buy at least 10 shares. Now you're talking about $1,690 for those 10 shares. The cool thing with digital assets and crypto, the reason a lot of people like them is because it's whatever dollar amount that you can put into it, whatever you want to invest. Obviously, you got to factor in the fees, and Coinbase is going to have some of the higher fees, but it has the simplicity. Now, if you get into Coinbase Pro, it's going to look more like a pro setup. Let's see. Just I'm going to show you other options as well. You have Coinbase, you have Binance.us. See if it'll let us get into that as well. Okay, here we have Binance.us. Let's see if it's gonna if it'll let us go to the markets without having to log in. Okay, it lets you see the markets. Now, Binance.us also has, okay, here's a good thing. Important notice, Binance.us services only residents in certain U.S. states. By proceeding, you represent and warrant that you are eligible for our terms of use. No product feature will be available to you, and you have established your U.S. state of residence through our verification process. Proceed. And I do have a account with Binance.us, though I don't use it very often at all. But it is a good, option. Now, having set up your account here if you find something that you like as well. And, another thing we're going to get into is seeing that we have VeChain, which is that right here. Now, a lot of confusion for new investors right here as well is the asset that you're looking to buy. You're going to see like a ticker on the left, and you're going to see the ticker on the right. Now, the BTC obviously stands for Bitcoin. You're going to learn those very quickly. Even though there's so many, you're like, oh my God, I'm never going to know this. You will, and you'll learn it very fast. It's pretty amazing how that works. But let's see, the first one here that we see is BTC, which is Bitcoin. You have ETH, which is Ethereum, ADA, which is Cardano, and so on and so on and so on. And when you see USDT, that's the part that you're going to hear with like Tether. There's also a USDC, which is for Circle. USDC is really amazing right now, and also has been built on Stellar as well. Stellar is XLM. Now, having said that, on the right-hand side is going to be what you're using to purchase that with, and that can be changed reasonably within each different asset. That's the liquidity of that asset. So like Bitcoin, for example, and this here is able to be purchased with USD. So you can, if it's going to let me change the markets. Actually, this is all. It looks like it's only to USD. You can switch to USDC, but it looks like without logging in, the only option would be Bitcoin. And the BUSD, there's your options there. And that's probably why all of it came up. There was just so much available with USDT. So again, here you can get SHIB, the Shiba Inu coin, which has been on fire, or the meme coins, man, for the past few days. But you can get with USDT. And then you click all markets. And actually there it's showing the mixture of the different, assets you can use to purchase. So again, on the right side is where you're using your currency that you're using to purchase. One over on the left side. And as simple as that is, that's very confusing to a lot of new investors. And actually this here is a good one. Because with each different, let me just show you another option depending on your country. If we can get it to pop up too. Okay, here you go. On Bitrue, this is what your more, I call that more professional, like exchange will look like. And then let's go back just to show the difference. You have your Coinbase, and this is kind of what it's going to look like. Very simple. Click down here, trade, and then once it opens up, it'll allow you to buy, sell, trade, etc. Now your exchange, they're more professional exchange, and I know it sounds funny, but there are different assets on this, and after a while, this almost will become your preferred like style of exchange to use. And even Coinbase Pro looks a little bit more like this. Now, this can be a little bit complicated if you're new, because there's a lot of different things you have to focus on. And I'm not sure how much it's going to let me show you again. I didn't really play around with all of these, and without logging in, I know it's going to not let me get into different things I would like to show you. But I don't want to get you too confused at the same time either. But when you're on this exchange, you're going to have your buy and you're going to have your sell. And those are really simple. And if you're using this exchange, maybe you're a little more advanced, but you're not sure how these work. It's really simple. You can come and put in your price here and the amount you want to buy here. Or you can just come and, not probably going to let me, but you can come and slide that over to 100%. And I tend to do the percentages a lot of the time because it's just so much easier. But sometimes you might want a specific number. Suppose you've got like 200,000 shares of something and you want to have 300,000 or 250, whatever your number is in your mind. You can add that extra 50,000 or 100,000 right here that you want to buy of the asset. And then it'll actually, as you're writing here, it'll tell you the price in that asset here already for you. And so it's pretty fun. But again, remember the number one rule to investing: never invest more than you can afford to throw away, lose, burn, whatever fits to be gone. And the reason that is with investing, because a lot of it can be lost, but you never lose until you sell. And my personal journey that I share is, I do a lot of research that I share with you so that you can see the assets on my journey that I'm sharing with you have utility, have use case, have partnerships, and they're basically built in. It's inevitable. I don't want to say done deals, because that's something you just don't say when you're investing into a commodity, a currency, or an asset. But at the same time, they're already built into the system. So it's inevitable. In this case, the way I look at investing is never invest more than you can afford to lose, because you're going to need to hold it. And I believe this December, it's going to get very exciting with a lot of assets. And the other thing is with that is there's a lot of delays that I think would have taken December extremely high that are questionable. It may push it another year over. But I believe, like Chris Larson said, now we're hitting into the internet boom, so to speak, the way it just kind of had a climb. And I believe we'll have a pretty much this bull run by the end of the year when it's kind of hit its peak. That I believe after that, next year, the assets will continue, the ones with utility, the ones that are going to stick around and survive all of this. I believe that those assets will probably slowly climb until 2025, till the full market maturity, whenever this has to go live 100% around the world. And then getting back into the investing, they have, once you buy your exchange here on the wallet, or I'm sorry, once you buy your asset here on the exchange, a lot of people do leave them on the exchange, and I do, believe there's a lot of safety in the exchange. But the old saying goes, If you do not hold your keys, you do not hold your crypto. Therefore, if your assets are on the exchange, they're holding your keys. So what you're wanting to do is send it to a wallet. Coinbase also has a wallet, but in my opinion, be very, very careful. We know the wallet can hold XRP, XLM, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Beyond that, I don't know what it can hold. It offers a lot of assets on the list that it says it can hold, but it does not. And I have sent assets like XDC from Zenfin to there because it offered on the wallet as a asset that it can hold, but it does not hold XDC. So if you're sending Zenfin, do not send it to Coinbase. It will not show up. It will not arrive. And I do know there's ways, I've got a lot of emails on how I guess you can go to forget what it's called, the Ethereum, where you can see your assets from the address that you had sent it to. And it shows up, Etherscan, I believe it's called. My apologies. Feel free to put that in the comments below if you know exactly what that is. I know how to get to it, but I don't, I'm not the greatest fan of Ethereum, though I do hold Ethereum and I do hold a lot of ERC20 tokens. The way I invest, I'm a long-term investor. I buy them and hold them, forget about them. Kind of like in my theory, never invest more than you can afford to lose, burn, so to speak. In my mind, I've bought them and forgot about them. It's money gone. And there's more stating with the wallets. I do trust, again, like I said, on the Coinbase, the XRP, XLM, BTC, and Ethereum, or the ETH. Now, Trust Wallet, I literally do trust to send everything that it says it holds. It's proven, and it's a great asset. I actually hold a handful of things there. Even my fun meme coins. I do have a few of the meme coins just because it was, why not? When they first started, you toss in, few bucks and you have millions and millions and billions of shares. I know that sounds funny, but whenever those random assets, first open up, they're, worth nothing, so to speak, and then you can invest. And I did a few just for fun. Nothing I was really, like your main coin, like on this channel we discuss is the XRP, XLM, VET, and XDC. I do trust all of those here, but I'm going to add another. The VeChain Thor wallet is typically where I would send the VeChain family, like, directly your VeChain, which is the VET. And then you have your VeChain Thor, the VTHO. And then you have, for example, Ocean EX, OCE. You have Player, PLA. And that's another thing we'll come back to in a moment. And then we have our, let's see, what's the other one? I'm totally blanking at the moment. Let me see if I can't pull it up really quick while we're talking, and I'll just mention it too. Okay, yeah, Safe Haven, SHA. So those are the VeChain family that I hold literally on the little VeChain wallet. And then another option as well is the Ledger. Ledger connecting to Nano Ledger, and there's a link also in the description below if you're interested in that. This one is my absolute favorite. You connect it and you can have the Ledger live on your home screen, and then you can click to it without having to continuously hold your cold storage Nano S or X onto that. Now this, what it does is kind of like a bank vault. It's kind of like, let's go back here. Like BitTrue, you have your exchange. This is where you purchase it. As a good example, like this is going to be like your wallet where you can store it. And I would consider the Ledger kind of like the bank vault, so to speak, because these are, I think they call them hot storage, where it's still connected to, where it's still live on the internet. But this is considered cold storage, where it's offline and you holding your keys. I will say though, if you're sending money, make sure It's really hard to show you that here, and I apologize. It's really wasn't wanting to log into my accounts on this computer, as I have specific computers for the accounts, and I don't use for my mobile phone as well. But I like the caution. I'm very cautious when it comes to that, and I think you should be too. Now, what's really great, I can't really show, but on the original, when we were transferring our currency to our wallets, you had to write out that long word. I don't know, 30, 50, whatever letters or and number mix that it has on there. Today, you have the QR code, which is really, really nice. You can set up your accounts on your, on your PC and on your mobile phone. Or I do not do the ledger at all, 0% on my mobile phone. I know some people do, but the ledger live lets you look at it like your bank account without having to log in with all of this, with your ledger, or I'm sorry, your Nano S or X. Unless you're needing to change, like send and receive, etc. But what happens here is go to crypto assets, and you can come down. Okay, here it is. Search an asset. Let's see. Does it hold? If you're not sure, you can come up here and say, oh, does it hold XRP? Yes, it does. And then it explains it right here directly on Ledger Live. And there will be a few that are not directly connected to Ledger Live, and that's the conversation I want to get into now. For example, let's go to VeChain, which is VET. Does it hold Ledger Live? No, it doesn't. But it does let you use what I call the third party connect to your Nano, but it uses VeChain Sync. So VeChain Sync is a different supported wallet, kind of similar to like the VeChain Thor or the Trust wallet. It's similar, but it's going to connect your password and everything. You don't have to remember to write that down. It's going to connect right to your Nano S or X, and that would be your login password. So that's pretty interesting as well. But whenever you're using the ledger to send your token, always make sure that the address you're sending to is correct. Spend a few extra minutes because you don't want to lose your currency. And if it needs a memo, make sure that you add the memo or your coins could possibly get lost. And I believe sending from the exchange to the wallet is typically going to ask for your address. But now what gets tricky is when you're sending back to the exchange to trade or sell. I don't do any of the selling. I don't do any of the trading. I just buy and hold. It's sort of like my digital gold. Other than that, and just wait until the value increases where I need it to increase. And at that point, I would then sell. I haven't sold any assets since I've started. So they are literally just sitting in the bank vault as digital gold. But that's something you're going to want to know too. And another thing to remember, nobody will ask for your password or your key phrases. Those are yours private permanently forever to never, ever, ever share with anyone. If someone asks you for your key phrase or your password and you're on the phone or on the internet, just hang up or close the page, because no one from Ledger, no one from Coinbase, no one from VeChain Thor wallet or Trust wallet or Binance or anyone, no one will ever ask you your key phrase, your seeds, or your passwords. That is privately, permanently yours forever. Never, ever, ever share those with anyone. I believe I've mostly covered everything. And again, quickly back through. Coinbase for an exchange is the easiest. In your location, you may or may not be able to use, different exchanges or assets. You can check others and see if you're able to use them. Binance US also is limited to different states within the US. And Binance itself has a main page as well. It's regular Binance.com, but it is not available inside the US. And then you have BitTrue. Again, you're going to need to see if it's available in your area. There are certain states and countries as well that cannot use BitTrue as well. And then as far as your wallet, to safely store your crypto, which is a little safer above than just the exchange, because then you're holding the key. You have the Coinbase wallet, and I don't mind it for those main assets that we discussed, like your XRP, XLM, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. But do not send XDC from Zenfin to the Coinbase wallet. It will not show up in your account. Mine has now been for quite a few months, and I'll have to do that search another time to locate it. I just know I can see it, so I know it's not lost. I haven't been in a rush to get it. I know that's a terrible thing to do and say, but I can see where it is. I can locate it. So, and then also to Trust Wallet, which I do trust. And again, it holds Trust Wallet really does hold all of the random coins. If it shows you that it holds it, it can hold it. And I have a few meme coins on there. I'll share with you. For me, they were just for fun. I didn't care if I lost every penny, or I didn't care if they made me millions. It was just a fun thing to get. For example, like Shiba, SafeMoon, Kishu. I did those for, like minimal dollars just to get those for fun to see how they went. And right now they're doing unbelievably well. I really never expected them to do what they're doing now. It's not pushing those coins because the top 4 that we discuss mostly here. But yeah, I do have some. It's for fun. Why not? And again, if you follow the investment rule, it doesn't matter what you get, because the investment rule is never invest more than you can afford to throw away. And those have actually returned significant gains, which is very exciting. And again, you have the VeChain Thor wallet, which I use, like I discussed. You can use your VeChain Thor there. But for me personally, I have those here on the Sync wallet, which connects directly back to the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano S and X. For me, that's like cold storage offline. It's really safe and secure. But again, on this, you can put, for example, I use Player, and I use OceanEX and Safe Haven. I put on this wallet, and I've used it for a few years. So one thing I want to come back to, Player. Now that is where it's very interesting. Let's see if it'll let me search on Coinbase. Okay, it did. It's very exciting if you have Player. But the problem is on Coinbase now for quite a few weeks that I've left messaging for them, this pricing is not correct. And there are a lot of people who would be extremely multi-millionaires right now at that pricing for Player and have millions and millions of dollars. Coinbase, you cannot buy and sell Player. It is a VeChain to VeChain Thor, the VeChain ecosystem. So what they have going on here on Coinbase is they have the Player pricing mixed up with PlayDAP. PlayDAP now has a PLA ticker. I think someone should look into that and fix that. I don't think, that Player is a dead project. A lot of people are saying that, and that's why. But it's still listed and it's still active and live at this point. If someone knows otherwise, that it's 100% dead, let me know. Or even let Coinbase know. But having said that, Coinbase usually keeps everything pretty active. But on this one, they have the price mixed up. And that price is for PlayDAP, not for Player. So I don't know if anyone from Coinbase is listening, but you might want to fix that, because that's, that's your control, your accuracy there, where you're listing that price. A little inaccurate, but I know a lot of people who hold Player would love for that price to be accurate and correct today, because there would be multi-millionaires just from this right here alone. And that's really all I wanted to get back into with Player. And guys, remember, I hope I answered a lot of your questions. Just trying to think ahead, and it's hard to think when you've done this for so long without direct questions other than, where do I get it? Where do I store it? And how do I understand what the asset is I'm buying versus the asset I'm using is. So on the right is the currency. Let's come back to it. On the right side, and this BitTrue does really well because it kind of darkens the asset you're buying and highlights on the left side the asset that I think I just said it backwards, but that you're buying, and that they kind of darken the asset you're using to purchase it with. So here, these are USDT. If you're sending it that, suppose you buy it from Coinbase and you send it to BitTrue, and then the asset on the left is the one that you're looking to buy. And they make it very simple as far as that. They actually highlight it. I will say another thought too. If you're sending Bitcoin, it's a little bit pricey and slow. But I think at this current moment in time, Ethereum is the most expensive asset that you can send. So try not to use it if you're sending from, exchange to exchange, because the fees are going to be phenomenal. And I don't mean that in an excitingly good way, but they're very, very high. So I tend to use something like, for example, if I'm sending BitTrue, or I'm sorry, if I'm on Coinbase, I'm sending currency to BitTrue. Probably what I would go do here, because it's less expensive and very, very fast. It's the fastest asset I've ever used for sending, and that would be by like Stellar's XLM. Let's see if we can find it really quick. Here we go. Stellar Lumens XLM, only 35 cents. You come in and click trade and purchase whatever you're going to send. Suppose you want to send $25 and you want to use BitTrue to buy VeChain. VeChain is not available on Coinbase. So we would come in, click Stellar Lumens, I'm going to buy it. And then one example that I use, I would send Stellar Lumens here. You're going to want to put in your address where it's going to, is this address here. You come to BitTrue and then click XLM, receive. It's going to give you an address. It's going to give you a memo. Then you're going to come back to Coinbase. You're going to Stellar Lumens, XLM, the ones you're going to then send. It's the little, once you get to the purchase it, and this is in your wallet, you'll go to the wallet. Up in the top right corner, typically you'll click the little send button, and then it'll pull up a page confirming your, what do you call it? Your 6-digit code. And then it's going to, once you add that in, it'll permit and allow you to send. So then you put in the address and then you fill in the memo, because once it goes to here, it's going to request that so it does not get lost. Then once you receive it, the easiest way to do is take your XLM, you're going to put it in the cell. Unless your asset lets you purchase something with XLM here on the right. If not, you're going to convert it then and put that into buy on the buy side. So after you sell it here, it's going to go back into your account. Then you're going to come back and buy the one that you need to purchase your asset. Suppose you sent XLM, you'll sell it, and then you'll buy USDT. And then you can use your USDT, come over here and buy all of these assets if you wanted more XRP. There it is on the USDT. So then you could click that. You're like, great, I'm all set up. I sold my XLM. I used it really fast, no fees. And then that's probably the best way that I personally would do that. It's an extra step to do it, but you've saved all of that money in fees, which means it gives you more money to buy more assets here. And hopefully I wasn't rambling on too much. I'm trying to think about any little question I may or may not have covered. Again, remember, if you're sending it to these, make sure you use address and make sure that you use your memos. Include those on all of the transfers that you use. Go slow. Check yourself 2 or 3 times. And another thing too that I think is very important, I've always done in 3 steps. If I'm sending something from Coinbase to Ledger, what I'll do is suppose we're sending $100. I'll do the 2 minimums and then I'll send the rest after confirming. I'll do one to send a test amount, whatever the minimum is, say, $20. let's just say we're sending $100. I'll send like a $20 test, another $20 test, and then I'll send the other 60. And that's kind of the way I do it. You know, it's an extra step, but if I lose or if I accidentally mess something up, I hit tab or another letter, not paying attention while I'm sending it, then I only lost like the $20 instead of the 100, because then I have the test that I showed, the 20, the 60. And then I have 3 different transfers. It took a little bit longer, a little extra step, but it was very cautious and I didn't lose everything. There have been people who have gone to send it and they've typed one wrong little letter or word and it's gone. And at this point in time, there's no retracing or recovering those assets once it's sent to like the wrong address. I think I covered everything about your passwords. Never give those to anyone. You know, off the exchange, keep it in a wallet because something may happen to the exchange. What if the exchange is hacked or closed down, or SEC or something freezes all of your assets in there because maybe the exchange did something wrong. There's a lot of things. Just be safe, be cautious, be smart. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. And that's just for reasons of delays, hesitations, holding, etc. And you never lose until you sell. And in cryptocurrency, like they say, if you can't handle a 90% drop, you're never going to see those 1,000% gains. And that's very significant. You never lose until you sell. Do your own research. Know that the asset that you're investing in is one that's going to make it. Or, if, you know, like I did a few meme coins that I shared. If you don't even care if they make it just for fun to see what they do, then just know that going in ahead of time. And I believe I covered everything. Feel free to leave any comments below. And I hope this helped you. I've never really done a video like broke down like this for new investors, but I hope this helps because I kind of hit the key points that I was emailed on a discussion. And guys, remember, this is not financial advice, for entertainment purposes only. But before we go, I always want to leave you with a final thought. Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest boxers to ever live, this was a statement directly from him saying, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." Much love to each and every one of you, and we will catch you in the next one.